Currently, members of Congress are questioning Twitter 1.0 executives, as some have referred to it. But I don't think it's accurate, because I think Jack Dorsey was like the OG guy. And then with Vijay Gadde and Yoel Roth and others, it's more like a 2.0 than Elon Musk perhaps is a 3.0. But I saw this video of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez posted by the Bongino Report. And I watched her go on a rant where she just like lies. And it reminded me of the other rant she just did recently when she was defending Ilhan Omar. And I really thought to myself, you know, there's an issue that I think is bringing things to light in my mind, and something I've been talking about for the past few months and past year, really, with the intensity of the attention around me. And I figured, you know, I've not really done a personal deep dive into a lot of this stuff. You know, there's no real way to address issues of tribalism, drama, the culture war, etc. when, you know, you're trying to talk about the news and not overtly just talk about yourself. But there's no real way to do it. You know, no matter what you do, people are going to come after you and attack you. But this is what I want to do with today's segment. We're going to have a big show tonight at 8 p.m. We're going to be sitting down with members of Congress discussing a lot of what happened here with Twitter and the State of the Union and what's happening in this country, things that I think are really important. And it is an honor and a privilege to be able to sit down with some of these people and many of the people that I have sat down with for some time. But of course, there are a bunch of people who are angry with me. And so I think there's a lot to be said about this video from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the other video she did, which exemplify a great deal of the cultural and social decay that I think is impacting our society, and why I've never wanted to be a part of it, why I don't care to be a part of it. And, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And we'll start with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and then I'll talk to you about Jack Murphy, Eliza Blue, Jeremy Hambley. Many of you may not even know who those people are, which is the big issue. And it's typically why I don't care to talk about them, because they're not relevant to an audience that's concerned about whether or not our elections are being subverted. Of course, there are many people who want to believe that they were wronged, even if they don't have the evidence. And this could be literally anybody of any political faction. And they demand you support their ideas no matter what. It's an untenable situation, whatever your political positioning may be. But, you know, I think a lot of people are the reason, I'll put it this way, the reason why I want to talk about the culture war, drama, and issues pertaining to it, and maybe get a little bit esoteric and talk about the personal drama, is because I rarely do. And I think it's part of the bigger picture. When I had Steven Crowder on the show and Candace Owens talking about the Daily Wire, and we were talking about this contract thing, some people said, I don't know who this is. Why does this matter? Well, it's setting the news cycle, right? We talk about these things. At least I want to talk to Steven Crowder because, for one, he's particularly famous. He's a prominent personality. We have a conflict between these two organizations. Some don't like Crowder. Some like the Daily Wire. And this may have precipitated the drama, which involves me. But it determines the future of what the culture war will be. And in front of us, we have, I should say, some possibilities. Now, for me, I've got people mad at me right now. And admittedly, it's a small portion of, you know, people who follow me. The drama will try and act like it's this big outrage or whatever targeted at Timcast. But, you know, we're growing. Not a whole lot is changing. But there are a lot of people who are posting videos about me, namely on the right, anti-woke or anti-establishment. And I think now's the perfect time to talk about what the future of this kind of anti-woke, anti-establishment movement might actually be. I don't care to be a leader in any such movement. I don't care to be famous, and I don't care to be a leader in any such right, which is why I'm not in office, which is why I am just some dude who complains on the internet and will basically tell anybody who comes at me to screw off, and I just don't really care. There's a lot to talk about in this regard, and so I'll address it. Before we do, head over to timcast.com to become a member if you want to support our work directly. Maybe you do like me. Maybe you do like the positions I have, and you agree with my vision of the future. And if you do, click that Join Us button and support our work. As a member, you'll get access to the Cast Castle vlog, Tales from the Inverted World, and Timcast IRL uncensored members-only shows. The plan is to have one tonight with sitting members of Congress. So this should be particularly interesting. But I don't know. We're playing fast and loose. I get a phone call like, hey, can you come to the Capitol and do a show? And I'm like, I don't know. It's a technical hurdle, but we'll try. And so let's just get in the nitty gritty. Let's talk about all the YouTubers. Let's talk about Sam Seder. Let's talk about the Young Turks. Let's talk about Hassan Piker. Let's talk about Chrissy Mayer. Let's talk about Brittany Venti, Simpcast, Jeremy Hambley. A bunch of people you may not be aware of, but are commentators in their own space of varying follower sizes and of varying political factions. And I want to talk to you about how I view this system and why I think it is corrupt, disgusting, and quite honestly, I want no part of it. I want literally no part of it. But let's do this. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends. Let me show you this clip from Rumble of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who I believe is one of the griftiest of the grifters and who needs to be called out. Let me play this clip for you.
For bias against right wing on Twitter.
Is it?
So much for bias against right wing on Twitter. Additionally, Ms. Navaroli, are you familiar with the account Libs of TikTok?
I have heard of it from the news, yes.
Mr. Roth, are you familiar with this account?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Are you aware that from August 11th to August 16th, that account posted false information about Boston Children's Hospital, claiming that they were providing hysterectomies to children?
Okay, we'll pause there. And this is important. Do you hear the righteous indignation in her voice? Boston Children's Hospital lies. Okay. Well, she's doing this. It's performative. I don't know. I think is this the video? Okay. No, this is the Boston Children's Hospital one. Here we go. Fox News, February 2nd. Ocasio-Cortez explodes over vote to boot Omar, slaps notebook against podium, targeting women of color. It's fake. It's all fake for everybody. All of these people, it's all fake. They don't care. And I don't care for them. I saw this clip of AOC. She's lying and she's putting on performative outrage. There's no real, let me show you this. Gerald Beer says, this 2021 document is on Boston Children's Hospital's website. The Center for Gender Surgery provides gender affirmation surgery services to eligible adolescents. Adolescents, of course, could be someone ages, 5 to 17. I think 4 actually is the cutoff because toddlers before that. Toddlers when you can't walk. To be eligible, you must meet certain criteria. The criteria are not listed, but hysterectomies are. And of course, the Boston Children's Hospital does list the hysterectomies that they provide. And then we also have this video where a young woman explains what a hysterectomy is. Now, you can argue from AOC's perspective, she's saying they weren't giving it to children. Well, hold on there a minute. As we already seen from these documents, they do provide them to adolescents. I mean, that's true. But AOC is giving you performative outrage.
Yes, I am aware of that and other claims from the account.
And are you aware that this lie was then circulated by other prominent far-right influencers?
Okay, well, I've already proven to you it's true. But this is an example of what I'm talking about in the culture war. This is an example of what I despise and what I think, we'd be better off without. I don't know if it's beyond human nature to resist things like this. And I'm sure many people have argued that I've done similar things, and fair point. Quite literally, fair point. I've been saying it since I've started doing this back in 2016 or whatever. I see these things that make me angry. AOC, lying about stuff. Maybe she's just wrong. I don't trust her. The performative outrage over Ilhan Omar I thought was absurd. And maybe I've done similar things in the past. By all means, I should be criticized for those. I'll call them out now. And as I try moving forward to do better, I seek to avoid these kind of controversies. I try really hard. Maybe it's not about being black or white. Maybe it's not that you've never done these things. Maybe it's you try to avoid doing these things. I try to give Joe Biden credit if he does something I think is good. I gave him praise when he said things I liked during a State of the Union address. For Donald Trump, I try to criticize him when I can, and I have more criticisms than I do of praise. But I do think he's a better president and was a better president than anyone I'd seen in my lifetime. AOC continues.
Yes.
And are you aware that all these claims, which I have reiterated, were false, culminated in a real-life harassment and ultimately a bomb threat to the Boston Children's Hospital?
You see how she's doing this? Like, I don't know, man. I just feel like she's got her facts completely wrong. She's not actually bothered to look at any sources. And her faux righteous indignation is quite literally what the culture war is. Perhaps it's always been this way. And it's only now that we are getting older and I'm in my 30s, going to be 37 in about a month, that I'm starting to realize this is the thing. Perhaps it's always been this way. I remember 10, 20 years ago seeing members of Congress walk up and shake hands and smile and hug, hearing stories about how they'd go on the House floor and scream and say, "You were doing this," and then say, "Okay, are we done? Cameras are off. All right, let's go get steak dinner." It's fake. It's all fake. And so what's the point of being involved in this? I often think about Dylan Ratigan. He was a host for MSNBC, had this epic rant about all of this stuff, and then one day was just like, I quit, and went and started doing hydroponics. I can't blame him. The Bongino Report posted the clip and then said, correction, The video posted here is titled AOC Loses Her Mind Over Libs of TikTok. We've since confirmed there's no evidence she had a mind in the first place. We regret the error. And I think about that and I'm like, yeah, I just don't know if I care about this stuff enough anymore, to be completely honest. And I don't think I'm cut out to be whatever it is that people expect or want in this space. That is to say, in order to rise to prominence in this space, you absolutely must pander to a tribal force. You must be like AOC, express righteous indignation at the turn of on a dime the moment your audience demands it. Because you have different elements of your audience for any one of these organizations. You have your diehards. They'll support you no matter what you do. You have your more fickle fans. They know you and they overlap with other audiences, but you better do as they say or else. And you have normies who might watch. For most of you who are listening to this podcast or are watching and are not familiar with some of the names I've mentioned, you probably fall into the category of like a passive fan. And I mean that with no disrespect. Somebody who likes listening to the things I have to say, watches the show, but you don't know a whole lot about the deeper workings. You appreciate that we talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, war, conflict, what's happening in this country, and you want to learn more about the world. That's the overwhelming majority of the people who follow me. Then there is a faction of diehard fans, people who watch every single video, who support us directly at timcast.com and things like that. And they're going to defend us because they really believe in us. And for that, I respect you. And I appreciate it. And then you have the more fickle overlap fans who watch because there's some kind of alignment that would benefit them or their worldview, but they will turn on you unless you do as they say. I mean, there's other, you can quantify fans in other ways or individuals and audiences in other ways. But these are the people right now that are particularly upset with me because they've demanded that I disavow certain individuals. And by not doing so, they've created a, viral news cycle among people about drama related to me that I quite honestly think is a net negative in terms of moving forward. It exemplifies that these people are very much the exact same thing that AOC is, that I despise and think we need to do away with, and convince me that so long as the right and the left exhibits these same phenomenons, these same features of cancel culture and lies, then there is no real path forward. Or, I don't know, maybe that's just human nature. Humans want tribal conflict and they will get it no matter what. Let me show you some stuff on YouTube, and I'll talk about what the YouTube space is and what the culture war is. The first thing I'll say is the New York Times just mentioned they have 9.6 million paying subscribers, and it's quite incredible. The Washington Post and everything they've done. Do you see what these organizations do? The Washington Post hired Taylor Lorenz because they know the game and they want to play it. I don't want to do that, and I'm not interested in doing it. I'll hire people that I believe in who are doing things that I think are good, but I'm not interested in pandering to anybody for any reason. And if that means you will unfollow this channel, you will unsubscribe from my website, then you should have never signed up in the first place. I'm not going to cater to you. I'm not going to pander to you. I'm going to talk about what I think is important. I'm going to focus on issues that I think are important. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry, this channel's not for you. In the past several years, or I should say in the past year, especially with the swattings that we received, I can tell you outright, there is nothing glorious about being perceived as at the top. I certainly can empathize with Joe Rogan because I can only assume what he goes through. But you take a look at what happens when you search for my name on YouTube. For one, obviously, you will get my channels, you'll get the videos I put up, and then you'll start getting weird nonsense things. The Majority Report with Sam Seder, 6 days ago, a channel that's absolutely obsessed with me. I don't know why. H. John Benjamin explains Tim Pool's Bob's Burgers drama. What? I don't even know what you're talking about. So I think, this is probably in reference to something Sam Seder told me 10 years ago, that they were reducing his voice acting role on Bob's Burgers because he voiced a character. And I said, he explained that he was upset about it. Okay, well, 6 days ago, they do a video about me. It's fine. I mean, I get it. I got millions of subscribers and followers for whatever reason. We have this one. The Young Turks corrects Tim Pool's brain dead and racist take on Tyree Nichols. Racist and brain dead? Yeah, it's shock content for tribal reasons. Anna Kasparian and the Young Turks make fake videos about me all the time. Here's another one from Sam Seder. Tim Pool confused by Crowder's nonstop lies about Daily Wire beef. Well, I can say one thing. At least they made me look thin in this thumbnail. I actually look very thin. But Sam Seder likes to do something. He likes to use filters over my face to make it look like I'm corpse-like. This is exactly what I'm talking about with the issues of AOC. They put sound filters on my song to make the song sound bad, to trick their audience. The Majority Report is notorious for this. The Young Turks takes quotes from me out of context and lies about what I believe in order to generate traffic. Much like Jeremy Hambly and Brittany Venti did about, and some other characters, about what I said about the Eliza Blue story, which I'll get into in a moment. Of course, eventually you'll find I have a song out. Look at that, 1.2 million views. Here's someone, actual justice warrior, shout out, apparently defending me, I guess. TYT smears Tim Pool. Here's someone calling me a scumbag. It's fine. Here's someone, umbrella guy, claiming Tim Pool defends Eliza Blue. Here's Chrissy Mayer talking about me and whatever. The umbrella guy talking about me losing it. Brittany Ventney talking about me. Here's the quartering saying Tim Pool blasts his viewers on Timcast IRL. The quartering issues and what is it? Issues and apology and back to Eliza Blue. Tim Pool versus his fans. So here's what ends up happening. And here's what I want to address as it pertains to drama and things like that. You know, I see these videos all day, every day from the likes of the Young Turks where they just lie about me all the time. And they make videos about a bunch of people, don't get me wrong. But let me see if I can scroll back to where they did this one video where they claimed I was hoping to sexually harass women, which is like a ridiculous nonsense lie. It's just not true. It's nothing I've ever said. These drama channels take things out of, here we go. Creepy Tim Pool, I miss being able to sexually harass women at work. Literally never said that. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Said in my video that you have to treat men and women differently because they're different. Then, of course, we have everyone's favorite Jeremy Hambly. Jeremy Hambly makes endless videos about me. I get it. They get traffic. You take a look at his Joe Rogan video. Jeremy Hambly makes a video about Joe Rogan and he gets 115,000 views. He makes a video about Tim Pool and he gets 232,000. We scroll down. Here's another video he makes about Tim Pool. He gets 243,000 views. He makes a video about Eliza Blue, 61,000. This is what I'm talking about. Tim Pool blocks me, 317,000 views. I don't care. I'm talking about this only because I talk about what I care about talking about and what I think is important and what should be talked about. That is, if there is something that I think is impactful towards this world I think we'll address it. I think we will. Typically, I don't talk about me because most people who follow me don't know and don't care. But I'll give you an example of what this is. Did I attack my own fans? The answer is no, I didn't. Obviously, you're watching this. You're a fan. I never attacked you. Why is Jeremy Hambly lying on his channel? Just like the Young Turks, that's what people do. Their goal is just to make money, I guess. Now, of course, they'll accuse me of doing the same thing, but it's weird. I have no problem telling people who are spamming my chat to screw off. I don't care and I don't want your money. And then apparently they cancel their subscriptions, but I'm the person who wants money. I don't. I really don't. So let this be a more personal, let me address my goals and missions and what I think about all of this. I blocked Jeremy Hambly. Why? Because Jeremy Hambly is the rights or the anti-establishment version of the Young Turks. I never attacked my fans. On Timcast IRL in the super chat section, as people were asking me questions about Eliza Blue, I pointed out, I'm not going to disavow someone I don't care about. Someone who'd been on the show 2 times out of 710 episodes. 2. Really don't care about Eliza Blue. We book a lot of people. We booked the Krasensteins. We've booked Matt Binder. We've booked people who are on the left, and I certainly would say are more grifterish than she. But for some reason, these people care all so much about it. Well, it's fake. When Jeremy makes videos about Joe Rogan, he gets less views than he makes videos about me. That's why he does it. I don't like it. I can't stand it. And you know what? Hopefully, making this video will make these people stop following me. I will make less money and I will be less relevant to all of these people because I will say it and I will say it proudly. I never wanted to be famous. I don't care about being famous. I don't care about being rich. I don't want your money. There are ideas that I care about, and if I care about them enough, I will talk about them. So by all means, keep making up your trash garbage and misrepresenting who I am and what I believe, Jeremy Hambly or the Young Turks. You're all the same as far as I'm concerned. I'll tell you what I said. On my show, I said, I believed Eliza Blue is trying to be famous. And there is a PR firm that we know of that the belief I have, based on what I've seen, is they create about 50 fake accounts. They get about 50 people I'm sorry, they get about 10 people to each make about 5 accounts and run them. It's very, very easy to do. And you can watch videos of this where they have cell phones all over the walls. They then will go onto channels and spam the comments and say, cover this story and talk about this thing in an effort to get prominent personalities to talk about it. And it works. Now, not only do you have Jeremy Hambley with 1.47 million followers making up videos where he says Tim Pool blasts his viewers, when I quite literally said, these people are clearly not fans. We've gained members at timcast.com. There's no basis behind this. It's just the same Young Turks garbage. It's the same thing I've been complaining about for months as they make up fake things about me. It's the same thing I complain about with Sam Seder, who makes up fake things about me. It's the same thing I complained about with Hassan Piker, a prominent leftist personality who, even when I defend him, finds reason to criticize my agreements with him, going so far as to, when I said we shouldn't be spending money on wars overseas, like Ukraine, he then says, he laughs, says I'm wrong, and then says the military-industrial complex is the problem, which is funny because it's like, my guy, we completely agreed. You've not provided a justification for the $100 billion we spent in Ukraine. It's fake. That's all it is. And there are a lot of people who really want that. There's a lot of people who really care about that. Good for you. You're not going to get it from me. I don't care. I think there's a lot of really messed up things happening in this world. And I'm not convinced that we're headed in a positive direction that's going to be able to solve these things because this is what people really want. 300, what do we have? Here we go. Tim Pool blasted for article. An article I didn't write. Shane Cashman wrote it. He works here. But he puts my name in the video because I guess people are obsessed with me. I would love it if people weren't. Tim Pool blocks me, 317,000 views. And they attacked me for doing it. There's literally nothing you can do in this space. Jeremy Hambley, the Young Turks, Sam Seder, they're not the only ones. The crew, Brittany Venti. I mean, these channels, I don't care for. They don't talk about things that are going to change the way you buy food. They're not going to help you raise your kids. They're not going to solve the problem of crime skyrocketing in your city. They're not going to help you understand why criminals are being let out of jails. But there's a large portion of the internet that really, really wants this. Absolutely loves it. Don't follow me if that's you. I don't know how to solve this stuff. But I'll tell you some stuff externally outside of all of this as to why I'm done with it. I'm completely done with it. Cancel your subscriptions at timcast.com if this is what you want. I never wanted your money in the first place. I asked for your memberships at timcast.com because we want to open a coffee shop. We want to open a coffee shop. The contractors are there. They're planning it because we want people to be able to come to a place to share ideas, to resist what I view as the corruption of what was once a great country. The degradation, the psychotic woke cult. That's what I want to do. What I don't care for is grifters, outright grifters. They'll accuse me of all of that stuff. Fine, that's fine. But I'll tell you this right now. I'd have no problem, as I always say, hopping in my van and going down by the river and just living it and giving everything up. In fact, it'd probably be a whole lot easier. So I would appreciate it if people who followed Sam Seder, the Young Turks, Hassan, and the Quartering weren't following my channel. Because I think this is the kind of lowbrow garbage that doesn't actually solve any problems. Tim Pool attacks his fans. Literally didn't do it. It's not relevant. It has nothing to do with anything. Why talk about this stuff? I get it. Some people like it. Okay. I'll tell you about some personal stuff in my life and why I'm so ready to be at this point. And the level of obsession with me that I have to deal with it's not worth it. It's not at all. And that's why I say I empathize with Joe Rogan. Like, man, like even I talk about Joe Rogan. I did a segment about him because he's in the news. And I think about it like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I just literally shouldn't talk about stuff like this. And we've done a lot of segments about Joe. As I've tried to explain, it's like, well, he's the biggest podcast in the world and we're all in this space. So when they come after him, when they criticize him, we talk about that. We either provide defense or some context. Sure. You know, what I've been dealing with over the past year is we've been swatted 15 times. We get bomb threats. We've had the studio evacuated. I've had people threaten my life. And then, I have to deal with the likes of Jeremy Hambley making videos saying, assassination attempt on Tim Pool, just like extreme hyperbole and stuff like that, shock bait, garbage content. And I'm just like, I really don't want to be involved in this. I really don't want to be here. Let me explain to you why. Imagine you have someone show up to your house and they break in and you can't actually do anything about it. There's no calling the police. You can't. And the police can do something, but then they attack you. They use whatever leverage they can against you, and they make up fake lies in the media to try and destroy your life. So what do? How do you deal with stalkers? How do you deal with harassment? How do you deal with obsessed people? How do you deal with people who used to be your friends who make up lies about you all the time? And I'm not talking about Jeremy. I don't consider this guy to have ever been my friend. He makes videos about me where he insults me and then acts like he was my friend the whole time. And we were friendly and cordial, but seriously, this guy would just, he sends me a veiled threat. He posts smack talk about me. He insults me and mocks me, and then he expects me to be his friend. No, I'm not interested in any of this. I'm not interested in being a leader to you. I'm not interested in being a leader to anybody. I'm not interested in being in Congress, being in politics. I'm barely interested in running a company. What I am is somebody who sees problems and tries to talk about them, and is far from perfect, and tries to be as honest as possible. As times change and new information comes in, my opinions probably do as well. I don't like hiding information from people. I think people should just know what's going on. And if the end result of all of this and all of the drama is that I just walk away and say, I never wanted to be in this position, I'd be happier for it. The challenge is, and the reality is, there are millions of people who do follow me and who do ask me to keep doing this. I tried quitting this job outright. And I think it was 2019. You can look up the video where I outright said, that's it, I'm done, things have to change. And I got slammed with so many emails, so many messages. They said, please don't stop. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll keep going. I had a few 100,000 followers at the time, I think. And I was just like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I'll explain to you, man. I hope you understand. Some things you need to understand when it comes to a job like this. Every day I see the likes of AOC, Sam Seder, the Young Turks, Jeremy Hambley, making up weird grifter garbage nonsense to try and attract new fans. And I'm just like, I don't care. I'm hoping that we can talk about egg shortages, and stuff like that, or the potential for cyber attacks, or as I often do, the prospect of civil war. In doing this job, my phone lights up nonstop. People are asking me for money. People are asking me for jobs. My email won't stop ringing. I get 500 to 1,000 emails per day that I have to just throw in the garbage. I get people saying things like, I need this from you. I want this from you. Why won't you have me on your show? I get people making up lies about why I couldn't have them on my show. I get people like Jeremy Hambley getting booked for my show, and then instead of coming on my show, he goes on some other show and then insults me. Then he goes on his platform and attacks me and tells everybody that I insulted them, called them bots, and it's just not true. So why would I want to be involved in a world like this? I'll still keep doing what I do because I enjoy doing it, and that's the only reason I do it. But I'll tell you, to have people who were once some of my best friends, this is what you get in this space. A friend of mine from when I was a teenager, I used to skate with every day, decides one day that his path towards acknowledgement is to make up lies about me because we'd been friends, and that's his claim to fame. That happens more than you can realize. They come out and they say, one time Tim Pool did this thing, and they're like, well, that's Tim Pool's friend. That must prove it. And I'm like, why are you lying about me, bro? This stuff happens all the time. I had one former friend go into my Discord server, screen grab and download the entire archives, and then cherry pick me quoting other articles to lie about me in public. This is the disgusting, slime-filled underbelly that is humanity. And, man, it is a black pill indeed. Because I often talk about what I really want. What do I want? I don't know. I like what Elon Musk is doing, Starship, going to Mars. I think about how do we get people to Mars? Who'd be willing to do it? You would need couples, people who have families. You need to send advanced supplies and things like that. But that's not what we get with any of it. What we end up getting is rage-filled garbage. What we end up getting is drama nonsense and cancel culture. I don't care, man. I really don't. A person needs so little to get by. There are luxuries, of course, and there are higher standards. But to just live, I think about those who came before us and the hardships they endured to survive. Work all day, work all night, work on the farm, tend dear animals. And there's something rewarding in the hard work. In today's day and age, we have nothing but luxury, boredom, and so this is what we get. Rage-filled, low-tier nonsense. Now, look. The main reason I typically never talk about the drama or people like Sam Seder or the Young Turks, the reason I don't care to talk about Jack Murphy or Eliza Blue, for those that are familiar with any of these controversies, is because it doesn't mean anything to the average person. It's because to you, who goes to the grocery store and sees that milk is now $5 or $6 a gallon, or sees that there's not even any eggs on the shelf, you're not wondering about some low-tier internet personality everyone's mad at right now, because it's not going to help you buy groceries. So why would I bother talking about it? And then I get messages from people saying, you have to talk about it. I get death threats. I get stalkers. I get harassment. My employees get death threats. My employees get harassment. People post my address. It's just insane. I have a question. I'm wondering why it is that people are so obsessed with me. Many of you may say it's narcissistic and egotistical. Fine. No, but really, I mean, I've had so many people. I've been swatted 15 times this past year. Since January of 2022, we were swatted 15 times. Addresses that weren't known to the public and whose records you couldn't pull up. Some people asked, how come other people aren't getting swatted as much as you? And I'm like, I have no idea. It's just this insane obsession with me. I'm wondering why it is there aren't people coming out, former employees and family members and friends of Joe Rogan, and making up lies about him, but they do about me. It's so weird. I just genuinely do not understand. But it is kind of refreshing to see the rage-filled drama crybabies constantly attacking me, to see that, oh, heavens me, I've lost a couple thousand subscribers on this channel. Dude, I don't want any of this. I don't care for it. I don't want you to obsess over me every day. I don't need you to like me. I'm just going to talk about what I feel like talking about. And in this regard, it's something important. Let's advance on from me a little bit and talk about what this means as a culture. A new video game came out called Hogwarts Legacy. It's a Harry Potter video game. It's being boycotted. Twitch streamers are being threatened that if they play it, they will be boycotted. And many of these people cave. You know, look, I've had some nice things to say about Hassan Piker, and I've had some criticisms for him. He came out very honestly and said he won't be playing Hogwarts Legacy due to bullying. Yo, Hassan, I think you should play the game, man. I don't know. I think Hassan mostly agrees with his audience that they think J.K. Rowling's transphobic or whatever, but this is the same thing. It's all cancel culture. I don't care who's doing it. I don't care for it, and I won't abide by it. You come to me and say, Tim Pool, you must talk about Eliza Blue, and I'll say, no, screw off. She's not a relevant personality. She's not doing anything. Then they come out and they say, no, the real story is that she got people censored on social media. And I say, Andy No also got censored on social media. I didn't talk about him either. Get out of my face. I don't care. I'm not here to give you what you want. Here's another funny one. We got an email from one of our longstanding members. What they're doing now, the bullies, or whatever you want to call them, the cry bullies, is they're impersonating our members on Timcast. That's right. I fell for it. One of our members, an individual, made a fake account pretending to be one of our biggest fans and members. And then I said, if this is how you feel, then screw off and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. And they emailed saying it wasn't them. They're doubling down their membership and they don't want to be involved. It's just weird fake garbage. I played Hogwarts Legacy. It's a mighty fine game. The only problem I had was that PSN went down, so I couldn't play the video game. This is a fake boycott. Take a look at this. I think we have we have it here on Fortune. Sam Gibbs, I don't know who this is, tweets, introducing have they streamed that wizard game. Find out if anyone you follow on Twitch has streamed that new wizard game. And they're saying that if you play a video game, they'll unfollow you. What do you think? And these people are going to do it. Hassan Piker outright says he won't do it because of the bullying. I guess they got rid of the clip. He deleted it or whatever. Yeah, bro, you can't bully me. You can't bully me because I don't deserve anything from you. I don't care to be here or anywhere else. I've always been content with where I am and what I'm doing. I'm grateful that I've come to this point where people have supported me to such a degree where I have certain luxuries, many don't. I'm grateful that people love and respect the work that I do. But I don't care for the drama. I don't care for pretending to be outraged at someone because they're in the wrong tribe. When Hassan Piker came out and said that he thought it was enraging that Mr. Beast had to give these surgeries to people to fix their eyes, and that, we shouldn't paywall this or whatever, I saw a bunch of people on the right start criticizing him, and it made no sense to me. I just literally didn't understand what the criticism was about. Is it because Hassan is a leftist? You don't like him? Whatever. I thought he was right. So I defended him. Hassan played the game and said, yeah, well, Tim Pool's still doing right-wing agitprop and blah, 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 and they made it tribal. I don't care. No, I'm not here to play those games. I'm not here to pander to anybody, and I'm not going to be pressured by anybody for any reason, quite literally. You can message me and say you're my biggest fan and you've been a fan for 3 years, but you're just so disappointed that I won't talk about low-tier, inconsequential e-drama. So ask yourself this, as it pertains to all of this drama. In what way would talking about Jack Murphy or Eliza Blue have bettered someone's life? It wouldn't. There's literally nothing I could say. And what happens when I do address it? They make up lies. They go in my chat now and they say that Tim Pool accused his fans of being robots. I never did that. I said a PR firm created about 50 of these bots, spams people's comments to convince them to join in a mob. It's a common PR tactic. Ask any celebrity. You take a look at certain Democrat organizations like, I think it's called Share Blue, and that's very much what they do. It's just called astroturfing. And this is astroturfed. Why? Well, for one, I can't say too much, but based on what we've discovered, we pretty much know who's doing it and why they're doing it. You then get low-tier drama channels that take the bait and go for it, and congratulations. People then realize they can make money talking about me and insulting me, and it works. Here's what I hope for all of this. You know, I want the world to get better. I want the economy to get better. I want there to be less war. I think Donald Trump accomplished many of those things. I think corrupt individuals who are grifters and corrupt politicians did everything in their power to make it all just so much worse. That was the Democrats. And that's why Joe Biden is a crackpot. That's why he's corrupt. And that's why we know that he's been enriching his family. Donald Trump did some things that are questionable, and we criticize those things. I want to see humanity travel to the stars. And I'm hoping that'll be the case. In order to do so, we have to actually care about it. Now, there's two ways to approach this. One, you can be like AOC. I could come out and be like, wow, I didn't know these things about Eliza Blue. Oh, heavens, let me pander to the mob who's so angry about it. That's one way to do it. I'm not interested in that. Don't care, literally. I mean, you can lie about me all you want, and you can make up fake things and claim I said things I never said. You can be like the Young Turks or Sam Seder, whatever. The other way to do it is just do the work and hope that the truth prevails and we can push through and we can make it better. I'll wrap up with this, I suppose, going along. There's one reason I talked about this, just one. I don't care to talk about things related to me. I don't care to talk about personal issues. I don't talk about family. Mostly ignore it. I've done it on occasion, though. Sometimes I think transparency is warranted and people may wonder about what's going on behind the scenes. But the reality is most people don't know or care about any of this. And many of you are probably going to say, like, dude, I have no idea who these people are. And that's the truth. But I'm not that kind of personality like these big corporations, these faceless corporations. I'll tell you literally and exactly what we do and why we do it. I just won't waste time talking about things that people don't understand. I see a lot of these big corporations. They want to side with the audience. That's what Fusion said. It's funny to me. I tell the story all the time about how Fusion came to me and they said, our audience is progressive and we're going to give them what they want to hear. We're going to side with them. And I said, I'd never do that. And thus people are angry and they're outraged, saying, why won't Tim Pool talk about the things I demand he talk about? Well, I'm not here to side with you. Sorry. Have a nice day. Go get your obsessive psychodrama from other people. I don't want to be famous in this. I never did. You can lie and claim that I did all day and night, but I'll tell you this. I will never apologize to you, mob. I don't care where you come from, left or right. You'll never get an apology out of me for anything. Screw yourselves. I don't need to be famous. I don't want to be famous, and I don't need your support. Now, for those of you who agree with me, those of you who think that we should be changing the culture, we should be building things, we should try our damnedest to do so, that we should push back on this low-tier garbage, that we should try and find a way to make things better, that we should instill values of individual responsibility, liberty, or otherwise, and you want to support the work we do, I'm eternally grateful that you do support us. I really am. But this is the kind of stuff that I think is what's plaguing our culture. I'll say this. I said I was going to do one more thing, but there's always a little bit more, right? Hassan won't play a video game because he's being bullied. He said, because nobody wants to deal with a whole bunch of people spamming their chat and threatening to unsubscribe. And he's completely right. I don't want to deal with it. But I suppose that's the difference between me and Hassan. That if someone comes to me and starts yelling at me or spamming my chat, I'll just say, go away. I don't care. You can't You can't bully me. You know, look, I've been homeless, and most of you know. You can roll your eyes all you want, the people who are mad. I've had my home and studio evacuated by police officers with rifles and bomb threats and the bomb squad being brought out here. The last thing I care about is the opinion of people who want me to engage in drama garbage. But I say this because the cancel culture is a large component of what's a negative driving force in our culture. People are obsessed with the fight. They're obsessed with the anger. They want someone to be angry at. You can be angry at me all you want, whatever. I don't care. It gets you clicks on YouTube. Congratulations. But I'm just going to try and do my thing. Tonight, we're going to be meeting with several members of Congress to talk about Twitter censorship, the censorship of conservatives, something I've been right about since 2016, and the State of the Union and the betterment of this country. Maybe I'm not the person you want to watch. Maybe there's somebody else who's going to deliver for you better. I hope you go watch them. I really, really do. I can only be me and only do my thing, and that's the only thing I will do. But truly, the last thing I will say. I hope you all can understand what's the right word? The obsession that people have with me is shocking to me. And you know this because we've had people break into the house. I've had people show up and break in. People show up on the property, even after being told not to. We have stalkers. You know all about it. I've been involved in lawsuits. And I can't for the life of me figure out why so many people care about who I am. I mean it sincerely. Like, why does Sam Seder make so many videos about me? Dude, I never talk about the guy. Why do the Young Turks make so many videos about me? They got more followers than I do. Jeez. Why is it that people are so damned interested in clicking a video with my face on it? Holy crap. You know, I've told this story before. Before I went on Joe Rogan's show in 2019 or whatever, I'm sitting in my boxers playing World of Warcraft. What was it at the time? Was it Legion, I think, was out? I had 180,000 subs on on this channel. I had, I think, 100,000 on Timcast News, and I was making six figures. I was making about as much as I made when I worked for the corporate media. And I could have just stayed there, making good money, had my own house, paid the bills, didn't have to worry about stalkers or any other weird garbage because nobody cared about me. Was getting maybe like 50 to 100,000 views per video. Worked until like 4 p.m., had the rest of the day off to do whatever, worked from home. Talk about a good life. But you know, I'm a crazy person, I guess. And I decided I have to work twice as hard. I have to do twice as much. I have to never stop. Even right now, I'm being pitched to do another show on a different network. And they're offering me, money, and maybe they'll offer me enough. I don't know. And I'm actually considering it because I must be psychotic. Maybe the best thing to do is just realize, human beings, they thrive on this stuff. There's no answer to cancel culture because you can't change human nature. As Bill Maher pointed out in his segment last week, Mao wanted to change human nature, and you can't do it. The Soviets wanted to do it. You can't do it. People crave this stuff. Why would I want to be the center of that? I never did, and I still don't. So one of the best things that could possibly happen to me is people just back off. Stop tweeting about me. Stop complaining about me. Stop watching 50 drama videos with my name on it. I don't care. Man, it really would be great. But it's not about, I don't make this video because of the drama pertaining to me right now. Admittedly, as much as they'll probably lie, they'll make more videos saying, Tim goes on a rant or whatever like that because it fuels their psychopathy. The reality is the overwhelming majority of people who watch my content don't comment. They've emailed support. They've redoubled their memberships. They've increased their memberships. Our revenue is going up. And there are people who just hate and hate and hate. I'm going to keep doing what I do. We're going to keep expanding what we do at Timcast. We've got a new morning show that's going to be comparable to The View. We'll get some moms and some women of moderate politics to talk about real world issues, but not like insane people like The View is. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to redouble our efforts. And I'm hoping that in doing so, the people who have come to Timcast and have come to follow me, who are obsessed with low tier inconsequential drama, I hope they leave. Maybe this means we lose a lot of money. Fine. I never wanted your money. I don't need your money. I am telling you this right now. You can call me a grifter all you want. Take your money and leave. I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be famous. I don't need it. You can leave. I'm not going to lie to anybody. I'm not going to tell someone, please don't leave. I desperately need your money. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me apologize to a mob that's mad at me. I don't care. I care about what I think is important. What I think is important is creating physical spaces and culture. I may not be the guy to do it. I'm not as big as Crowder. I'm not as famous. I'm not as big as the Daily Wire. I'm not as famous. And there's a lot of people who get mad at me about a lot of things. And maybe that will always be the case. Whatever, man. I think we need more of that. Someone to just say, go screw yourself if you're pissed off about it. Maybe the path is impossible. And I feel this way. If it is true that refusing to bend the knee to a mob and telling them outright, you're not going to dictate what I do and I'm not going to apologize to you. If that means we won't be able to grow to the size of, say, the Daily Wire and Disney or the New York Times and their 10 million subscribers paying whatever, $10 a month, then maybe it's impossible to correct the corruption that is causing the decay in this country. Maybe it's not possible. But I'm sure as hell going to try. So we got a building. It's in West Virginia. It's big. It's 3 stories. We own it. We bought it. And we are going to set up a coffee shop that's going to play videos from Crowder, from the Daily Wire, from Timcast IRL, from Viva and Barnes. So when someone comes in the morning to buy coffee, the culture they're exposed to is our culture. That people who believe in what we believe in will have a physical space to show up and talk about what they care about. And you know what? Maybe if you're obsessed with drama and other nonsense, this is not the place for you to hang out. But that's what I want to do. I take a look at what Starbucks does. I take a look at ESG, environmental social governance, and I tell you this right now, it is the death of classical liberalism and American values. And I'll do what I have to do to try and reverse that. But that does not include pandering to people who won't shut up and won't stop complaining. Y'all can leave. Maybe that means we don't win. I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. That is exactly what I think is plaguing everything. This obsession, this fear, that when 50 people send you a message, you must bend your knee. That's cancel culture. That's what caused the problem in the first place. I'm not interested, man. Networks used to go on the TV and be like, we're so sorry that we said these things. I ain't going to do it. It's not going to be me. I don't know where that leaves me. I wonder if maybe it's a problem for my employees, because if it does end up destroying the company, well, I'll fend for myself. I'll figure it out, as I always do. But for all of you who really do care, thanks for the support. Thanks for keeping focus on what is really important and what matters. And tonight, by all means, come to the super chats and spam and IRL, but we're going to be talking with members of Congress about issues that are shaping the fabric of this country, altering the course of our elections, and shaping the culture of our people. We need to be in control. We need to make sure that the children that are growing up today have positive role models. We need to make sure that they're not these creepy TikTok influencers, or they're not chasing after low tier drama garbage like AOC. How do we do it? I don't know, man. I don't have all the answers. I certainly don't. But I can certainly keep complaining on the internet, so long as you'll have me. All right. This time I'll really wrap it up. Next segment will be at 6 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimCastNews if you care to watch it. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.